I'm Ashton Addison from the Crypto Coin Show, and today on Blockchain Interviews with Nick Havryliak, co-founder and CEO of Assisterr. Nick, welcome to the show, and thank you for taking the time.
Ashton, thanks for inviting me, and hope the next 20-30 minutes would be really insightful for people who are going to listen to us and for you personally. And for me, it's a great opportunity to take a stage and share what we're building at Assisterr.
Yeah, I'm super interested in learning more through your insights about the intersection of AI and Web3, and more specifically, decentralized AI or community-driven AI, and how we can get as big or bigger than the big tech guys, which AI is getting pretty useful, but I would love to have decentralized versions as the go-to. And I think a lot of people would when they realize this, as we dive into that in the conversation today. I would love to start off our conversation just a little bit on your background in AI, blockchain, and what got you interested in this field.
Yeah, thanks. My background is basically into consulting. So I started my career into IT consulting. I was building R&D teams, managing R&D teams, mostly in AI and initially IoT direction. Then later on, I switched fully to Web3 space, was doing exactly the same. So building teams, organizing them, delivering some products. Then 2020, 2022, for 2 years, I joined AI startup where I was CPO and I was also responsible for R&D team. We were using recommendation algorithms and also computer vision algorithms to automate very pragmatical part of business function, sales and design function for small, medium businesses. It goes well. It establishes a working business. I moved to LA from Ukraine. I'm originally from Ukraine. I launched the office there. I hired a couple of BD folks. Everything went well, but then the war happened. And I just make a decision to sell a portion of my company to my co-founder, moved to UK, got stipend from National Bank of Ukraine to study at Cambridge Business School. Took maybe 1 year, just pause to think about life, what I want actually to do. And that's where I found myself that I want to combine Web3 element of my journey with AI element of my journey. And that's where Assisterr comes from. So initial idea was, hey, let's take AI technology and just automate very routine and very boring and very complicated process of developer onboarding and support from Web3 protocol sides. We did it. We established it as a business, but then at some point of time, a couple of months ago, we figured out that hey, all the infrastructures that actually we build just for one use case can be scaled and offered for many, many people, individuals, companies, and organizations to launch their own specific domain-specific use cases and earn money, monetize their knowledge experience, and build something really cool and amazing. So right now, we are basically position ourselves as a network of community-owned small language models. We are relying on small language models instead of large language models, and we are relying on a community element, which we see that very beneficial if we want to create high level accurate data sets behind of each model.
Very interesting backstory. And now this part about the small language models, when most people have heard of LLM or large language models, but they don't really know what that means. And I think ChatGPT and the main AI functionalities are LLMs. What is the main difference between small language and large language, and does it matter?
Yeah, so on a core, it's pretty same technology. It's like from technological perspective, they're pretty same. But the core difference is that with large language models, they usually have a lot of billions. It can be 80 billions, it can be 100 billions of parameters, while with small language models, it's usually up to 8-10 billion parameters. And it can be even lower, like 0.2, 0.3 billion parameters. And because of this smaller size, we can do two things. Like first, we can put these models on edge. So it's mobile phones, laptops, small devices. Then second part, we can focus on highly curated data sets that's going to be act as a brain behind this model. And for curated and small data set, it's easier to find this data. The question is where to take, for which use cases, and so on. And that's where our Web3 element comes in. So we are using these small language models but then we invite in community of professionals who have expertise, let's say, in some product development, in marketing, in like whatever you can think about from the day-to-day tasks that you are working on. You can launch a small language model that would be trained on specific data set, and it would be performing tasks highly accurate and highly good. If you're talking about large language models, everyone already tried. They're funny, they're cool, they're interesting, and like initially it was very excited. But right now you understand if you're trying to to use this model for domain-specific task or automation, business automation, it's not good enough. It's very average, and it has a lot of hallucination. So that's kind of a problem that we're addressing with small language models with the curated data sets.
It's very interesting. So are you saying that we could make sort of like ChatGPT for each industry or for each business use case and just make the language model just for that and then make it 10 times smarter than it would be if it had to learn everything in the world and try to be the best at everything?
Exactly. So it's like it's as our brain is working, like we don't have one cell that is doing everything, but we have like different like sectors of the brain. We have different like region and like a lot of like complex combination, and each of these parts responsible for one task or one function or whatever. The same way we see our ecosystem, our networks, that we're gonna have maybe tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions small language models trained by group of people. And these people have incentive and alignment to keep this model up to date. Why it's important? Because in the future, if you will think like what exists in the market and how people are solving their problems, there would be three options. Like first option is still old school way with Google search, with other search engines. Then we're going to have this LLMs, which can cover actually a lot of tasks, help to craft some text, articles, whatever else. But with LLMs, you have the ping 6-12 months on the training data set because they cannot afford to retrain the model all the time. And if you just remind when you was Googling something or looking for some solution, you're not asking like, tell me what was relevant a year ago. You're asking like, what I should do now? Like I need to solve some problem. So Google, you have all the time problem as a search engine that all this suggestion from them, they come from the ad model. So it's not all the time best for you, but it's definitely best for someone who paid to show you this. With LLMs, we redesigning it because if you're looking for something with LLMs, you will definitely find the latest possible solution for any problem, any domain zone that you are Googling, like looking for or querying. And then if something is missed, we have a community, maybe 50, maybe 100, maybe 1,000 people around each model that would be aligned to keep this model up to date. So if they are professionals, they can like, okay, there is a query that a model cannot serve automatically, then some people will start competing how to feed additional data to make this model smarter and to earn, I don't know, 1 cent, 10 cents from you.
Very interesting. So I'd love to dive into that economic model more on the Web3 side. So creating a decentralized AI, anybody, or maybe people who have the right credentials based on that industry of where the small language model is learning, they can contribute their knowledge or they can query back and forth to help train the model. And then they're going to be rewarded with crypto or some ownership in the network.
Yeah, exactly. So the core idea is that we won several hackathons in Denver recently with Binance Labs, with OKX as well, in this specific AI Web3 incentives, how to incentivize people to share their data, which actually already exists. If you will think about any domain zones that you can think about, it can be even like B2C marketing in China, let's say, or B2C, B2B marketing on some specific, like country or region or whatever. There is a group of people already who has this knowledge and expertise about this market, but they have zero incentive to share this data. So this data is all the time stored on their laptops, on their mobile phones, in their accounts, in different software and so on. So what we're trying to do, that's what we're building. We're offering them, hey, if you have expertise and you want to create a model based on your data, Like, let's kick off this process, register an Assisterr, create a profile, choose the roles that you want to perform. If it's model creator, or data validator, or data contributor, you would have different paths and different abilities to contribute and monetize your time and knowledge. But also you can organize people around yourself. So effectively we're trying to create this new wave of AI entrepreneurs, where this entrepreneurship would be directed to creating models and contributing data to this model instead of creating, let's say, applications on an App Store or Google Play Market. So you see, we try to play this game, but instead of one owner of application, a company who's going to be owns this application, we offering this ability to a group of people. So initial creator, he initially will have the biggest stake of the ownership over this model. But the more people contribute, the more we tracking and allocating some portion of this model to different people. And like, if there would be 1,000 people, they would have kind of a fractionalized ownership of this model, and they would be sharing profits generated by this model as well.
Mm-hmm. And with small language models being able to narrow down into so many different industries, where do you start? Do you is there a focus for Assisterr to start on certain areas, whether it's development or Web3, or do you just open the playing field and say, hey, any experts of their field can come in and start working on the industry that they like?
Yeah, it's a very interesting approach because it's all about the go-to-market strategy. So what we started with, it was like, hey, we know really well AI space and we know really well Web3 space. Like, let's target this area and like what we actually can build and automate in this area. That's why we started with developer support automation for Web3 protocols. Effectively, we build the smartest copilot or assistant, developer assistant for many top protocols, which can assist with smart contract developments, DApp development, with navigating into the ecosystem, how to build, how to deploy something. And it's already really strong ground layer for us. Why it's important? Because we see that in Web3 space, we have a problem with consumer-facing application. Why we have this problem? Because layer 1, layer 2, they accumulate all the value on their side. And opportunity cost to launch a like consumer-facing application is approximately same as launch layer 1, layer 2, but the output could be very different. So what we're trying to achieve, we want to give this AI copilots or AI assistant to many people who doesn't know how to develop application fully, who doesn't have enough resources to build a team of 5 or 6 people. And if they would be able to launch this application on a mass market, many application, and maybe invite just closest friends, maybe 20, maybe 50, maybe 100, it's already enough for them to earn, let's say, 20, 30, $50 per month. And for many people in the world, it's a huge money. You know, like there is Afghanistan, which where people earning a couple $100s per year, you know. So if they would have ability to launch something and use and benefit, which makes sense for them, they would be trying and doing and playing with this. So the next step for us, except this like DevRel and Web3 focus, it's like, of course, we keep building. We just announced today in the morning that we're going to be opening 100, like we're going to be supporting 100 Web3 protocols, like top 100 Web3 protocols in next 2 months. And next step for us, we are launching AI Lab. So with first use case and like first approach, we were doing onboarding, we were doing like establishment of this model on our side. So like our core team was doing it. The next step for us is to give no-code functionality for anyone who join in our ecosystem, to launch these small language models, to organize all the contribution process, to distribute these models to their communities on their own. So we don't want to be a bottleneck. We want to provide the instruments and then ecosystem that supports with distribution, with marketing, with many other things. But these creators or developers, this should be a people with entrepreneurship mindset a little bit, who wants to make it successful.
Yeah, very well said. I'm looking forward to that. And I also saw on Assisterr roadmap, there's these autonomous agents. Is that different than the assistant for developers?
No, it's like basically what is the core of our solution? It's a small language model. So small language model, it's a brain kind of operational system, but then this operational system can be connected to different UI interfaces. And this UI interface can be, like different chatbots, conversational chatbots, web widgets. It can be integrated to web platforms. Like whenever you're thinking about, you can do this integration, because this integration is only interface, but the core magic happening if you have strong brain. That's basically a core stuff. And these AI agents, we already have several UI interfaces, which I mentioned, like different conversational chatbots for Discord, Telegram. Right now, it's Slack under development. We have web widgets that can be embedded to any web platform and so on. The next steps that I see in the future that we would love to work and focus on, but it's going to be a later stage for us, it's to launch personal AI assistant that would be able and capable to go to the open web and search the best small language model or combine several small language models if the user or like customer or owner of this assistant want to achieve specific result. And to make it possible, this agent should, or personal assistant should have some balance in crypto to be able to pay for small language model, large language models, or Google search, or even humans. It depends like who will he reaching out to get service that he need. And our goal to have this like network of thousand and maybe hundreds of thousand models, small language models, that would be winning calls, kind of API calls from this personal assistant that I believe everyone gonna have. It's just a question of time.
That's very exciting. And what do you think about the prospectus in the small language models and decentralized AI catching up to the user base of the large language models and the amount of people that are using ChatGPT right now? How quickly will this be able to catch up?
Yeah, I think with ChatGPT and a couple other players in the space, we have this situation where big tech companies, they are just firing billions of dollars to shift the user behavior. So every time when, like there was a big invention, is it a steam engine, electricity, mobile phones, internet, there was a huge, initial huge investment should happen to change behavior of the people, perception of the people, like how I can achieve specific results, because like there was old way to do things, there is new way, and there are going to be, even better way to do things. So I think that's not direct competition. I think all these guys, they are educating the market and educating the community. The next step for everyone would be logical. Okay, I can achieve this level of accuracy or this level of automation or this, amount of money I can extract if I would be working with these tools. And okay, there is alternative. So what we are doing, we're not saying like, hey, we're going to compete directly with any of these big players, because direct competition is like we will lose most likely. It's almost impossible. But create an alternative where maybe 10, maybe 20% of the market will choose this alternative, would have other way to contribute data, monetize the data, establish the business use cases, build the community-owned small language models as like small business. That's the way that I want to go. That's the way that Assisterr gonna be evolving over time. And I expect that there would be a lot of like community involvement in this process. So right now we have 150,000 registered users, which we get over the first months after we launch a platform, which is a huge. So what we are doing right now, we launch a huge quiz, user research, where we're asking them what type of models you're excited about, what use cases you want to see on a platform, what type of data you own, what is your domain expertise zone. So based on, and like many other questions. So based on this information, we're going to have a huge demand side expectation. So it's like there is huge user base who expecting to use this type of models. And then by having this information first, we can customize the product itself, make it better, more precise for this audience that already is there, the community that is there. Second, we can go to any builder, any company in this space and say like, hey, do you know how to distribute your product, how to distribute your models that you're working on? And in most cases, I just came from Brussels and I was mentoring one hackathon and I chatted with 5 teams. And I chatted with guys like, hey, it's really interesting what you're building, but like, how are you going to do a distribution of this platform, like, or model or application? And they say like, oh, people will find how cool this is, like, and like they will start using it. No way. Like it doesn't work that way. Like if it was early 90s, maybe early 2000, but not right now. So what we can give any of this builder, we can say like, hey, we already have 50,000 users who are excited about Web3 analytics, and they are ready to use it, and also they are ready to contribute their data there. Or I can say like, hey, 100,000 users who are excited about some social tweens that is trained on the data from the community chats, and like they are ready to play with this, and you would have a lot of exposure. So it's highly valuable things with the distribution and organizing all ecosystem and community around it. And that's our focus.
Yeah, no, very well said, and I completely agree. There's so many projects now. You can build the greatest thing in the world, but if you don't get the right channels of distribution or go to market, then it's hard to get adoption on it. So I'm glad you guys are building this out. Now, I saw that, and you mentioned it earlier, there was a 1.7 mil pre-seed that was just closed. Congratulations on that. I wanted you to just talk about some of those investors, the partners, and the partnerships that from this raise that you're looking to partner with or capitalize on to take Assisterr to the next level.
Yeah. Thanks for congratulations. It's actually a very big achievement for all our team, because we started this project when it was a bear market. We started and we survived over the bear market. It was really complicated. Like whoever was started a company, like between this like green cycles, definitely understand how painful it is. And even like Web3 investors that we were chatting earlier, they were saying like, no way, crypto is dead. Like there's no developers, like no reason to launch anything there. I was like, whoa, really bad. But so far it sounds like right now it feels really good. So we secured this 1.7 million from pretty good like group of investors like Web3.com, Moonhill Capital, Contango guys, Outlier Ventures, X Ventures, like a lot of great angels from Zero Gravity, Michael, Assisterr, Swissborg, Eigenlayer, Bagel, Particle Network, and so on. So right now, our focus is to scale the product. That's where we hiring a lot of people. I just made a post maybe 10 minutes before our stream that we're hiring right now a ecosystem lead. We're gonna do a lot of effort in that direction. I want to have more verticals, more builders, and we're going to be matching it with this user research and expectation from our community, just to to build something that people are really need. And except that, we also adding more people onto AI side, because we're doing a lot of research. So right now we have three engineers in our team who is constantly doing research, because the AI space right now is just changing every week. Like every week something happening. It's not something, like it's developing so fast that you need to keep the space. You need to understand what is going on, how you can commercialize something that like just was released, and so on. And also, of course, developers, just to keep building, releasing everything. We're establishing processes. We're gonna scale a team even more. Except this, like a huge product milestone for us, it's AI lab, so it's no code solution. So a lot of people will come, and with their creative ideas, we can expect to explore and see even more creative and interesting use cases on our platform and over the whole network in general. And also we want to move fast. So I expect that somewhere autumn time, we might go for another seed round. If we will meet our targets in terms of the not community, but user base, and also in terms of the verticals that we're going to be adding by relying on AI Lab.
Amazing. And on the community side, what is the best way for people to contribute or try out on the platform and see where they might be able to participate?
Yeah, of course. Like right now is the easiest way to participate. It's we launch Incentivized Testnets. So right now anyone can go through different user flow, choose his role. Right now, do you want to be model creator, data contributor, or data validator? Also, you're gonna have a lot of like ability to test different functionality, participate in some valuable activities with us, invite your friends. claim some synthetic token, how we call it, use this synthetic token to query different models, interact with different models that are already on our platform, create some tickets, and many other things that you already can do and already can participate, and also think about which type of models you would love to create or contribute to. Because if it's another app store, generative AI powered app store, being at the beginning at this, movement, it's something that is highly valuable, because then you can choose different direction, which is empty and available, that no one is actually building there, no one is present with some solution. It's something that could, cost fortune for you in the future if you will do that.
Yeah, no, it's very exciting to be able to contribute to the next AI model that is in your expertise and be rewarded for it as well. And I think is very valuable, because it could be used by millions and millions.
Exactly.
Very cool. Thank you so much, Nick, for the insights into decentralized AI and the merge of Web3. I'm personally excited to have more small language model alternatives to the LLMs, and I think it's something that it's going to be very big. AI has just been huge in Web3, and we're finally seeing how the two industries together are creating value, and how other people, not just developers, but community people, can also get involved in it. So I'm looking forward to following along with the growth of Assisterr. I'm going to check out the community platforms, and I'll put a link to the platform and the socials as well in the show notes below, so people can contribute. And all the best moving forward with Assisterr and in everything in AI and Web3.
Thanks, Ashton. Have a good time. Bye-bye.